Well, this is fun.
May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? An alarm has been reported in the building.
Is it over? Okay, I think it's over. So here we go. Hey, what's up? I'm Amin Dhillon, and welcome to my podcast. I'm sitting down with the movers and shakers and the stars to chat about life, love, business, and being a total boss. It's raw, it's candid, it's the stories behind the headlines. This is In Conversation. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host, Amin Dhillon, and today on the show, I've got an exclusive interview with Nikhita Gandhi. Yep, she's going to be on the show today and opening up about everything from how the pandemic and the lockdown has been going for her to the new music that she's been working on and even revealing her Canadian connections. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy today's interview. Now, before we get into it, I just want to remind you all that if you like interviews like this and you want to see more, well, make sure to subscribe to my channel and obviously turn on the bell notification so you don't miss a thing. Also, be sure to like this video and do leave me a comment below. All right, guys, let's get right into it. Here is my exclusive interview with the one and only Nikhita Gandhi. Because I heard you have a Canadian connection, that one of your first school competitions, you sang a Avril Lavigne song.
Wow, that's yeah. Did I sing it? I did have a very big Avril Lavigne phase. That's true.
Who would have thought? Avril Lavigne, all the way in India, like that you chose
Oh
her. So
yeah,
that's why I thought it was
I
cool.
think a lot of kids when I grew up, they had they listened to Avril Lavigne. Like, she was pretty big. Like a lot of people
In
in my
India?
generation, like 90s babies. Yeah.
See, you're educating me. I had no idea. I hope Avril Lavigne sees this because I think she'll be like, wow, who knew that all across the world people like her. So that I love it. How did you actually first hear of Avril Lavigne?
um, I have no. I mean, I honestly don't know how I stumbled upon Avril Lavigne. I can't really recall the like how I got to know the artist. But I think maybe it was there were these cassettes that had top like max 20 or these top 20 songs
Oh, yeah.
of whichever, like 2000. I don't even know what it was, which year it was. 2000 probably. Like um there would be these they were like Billboard countdowns, and I think I had one of those cassettes, and it had I'm With You. I'm standing on a bridge, waiting in the dark, and I think it was just so beautiful. And then I think that's how I don't know whether that's how I got to know Avril Lavigne, but I definitely remember having that cassette and really falling in love with with her as an artist. And I really loved like her first two albums. I think it hugely influenced me in my preteens. Yeah, so there you go.
Okay, so are there other Canadian artists that you're a fan of?
I wouldn't know if they're
Like what
Canadian.
about Celine Dion, Drake,
Oh,
Justin
I love
Bieber?
Drake. I love Drake. You know who I love? Who I saw in your in your website, in your feed, and I am obsessed. It's not a music related thing, but I'm obsessed with this guy. I think he's the funniest guy ever. It's Just Rain.
Oh yeah.
I
Everyone is on me to get an interview with him. They're like, "Where did he go?" I'm like, "I'm trying, folks. I'm trying."
Yeah, because I legit thought he's hilarious, and it
Yes.
turns out like one of my childhood friend, like my mom's childhood friend's daughter, like a family friend, she knows him really well, which was really weird. Like it was, when she told me that, I got like weirdly excited. You know how you get excited about any kind of connection with somebody that you're fascinated with. That's exactly what happened. And I saw him in your feed, and I was like, just Rain.
Yeah, I've known him for so long, and I'm like, oh, I should have got an interview with him before. But I did get an interview with Rupin. Did you see that one with Rupin?
No,
The
I
one
didn't.
he played his Just Rain's mom in the videos. Remember that guy?
Oh,
I haven't interviewed him.
Is he his brother?
No, they're just friends. They went to school together. But you know what? Let me ask you. When you were here in Toronto, you were here like I think just a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
You should have asked to meet JUS REIGN.
Oh my God, I actually did. That was on my list. I don't know how we couldn't get in touch with his like team or his whatever management. And I actually even wrote to him. I think I even wrote to him. I was like, I'm coming to, if I can find that, I will screenshot it.
Yes, please. So did you DM him or email him or what? And he just didn't
Yeah,
meet?
I think I DM'd him, but I think he was already a little, like he was all over the place and then he just disappeared, like on social media as well. And then he started doing these fashion vlogs. And I was like, what is he up to?
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay. So you know what? Maybe after this interview, he'll hear that you are such a big fan and maybe he'll be motivated to come back.
I really hope that happens.
So thank you in advance for that. All his fans would really appreciate that. Okay, so let's get back to you. So actually then, no, let's actually get back to the music. So I know you're really influenced by Western. I've noticed that in your style, you do fusion. So I love that. I love when you see Bollywood stars that also like North American, I'm going to say music, right? Because I know us growing up here, we're both East and West. So tell me, when you were growing up, other than Avril, who were you listening to?
Yeah, the funny thing is, I think it's like, the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. I think Indians abroad really like indulge in Indian music, and I think that the kids growing up in India tend to do just the opposite. Like we tend to like look away from what's already around us, and like we like discovering international artists. So I think I had influences. Like throughout my adolescent years, I barely listened to film music. I mostly I used to learn Hindustani, so it was either like Hindustani and classical music, or it would be like started with Avril Lavigne, Evanescence, all these rock bands. Then I started listening to Nora Jones. Alicia Keys was a huge influence for me. And even now, like I listen to a lot of R&B, soul. I think I really like gravitate to that genre. So all in all, actually, it's really funny because even when I write my own music, and I released a couple of singles this year as well, I tend to write in English. Like I don't, write in Hindi so much. And so it's really funny because if I went back in time and told like 12, 13-year-old me that you're going to be singing in Bollywood films, I would not take myself seriously. I'd be
Really?
like, what? Because I really didn't think I would be doing this because I didn't really grow up in, absorbing so much Bollywood music. I think I did listen to it because, when you live in India, you can't really ignore it. But I never imagined that if I would be doing music, I would be doing film music. So it's kind of bizarre, like that I'm doing it. But now that I absolutely love it. Like I love that I'm getting to sing in films, and it's kind of helped me with my independent journey as well. Because I'm singing in films, it kind of gave me the confidence to work on my own compositions and release, my into the independent journey as well. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So then let's get back to that. So when did you decide I want to pursue music as a career?
So I didn't really decide. Like I finished school. Then I've always been very level-headed, very practical. So I didn't really, even though I loved music all my life, I've learned dance and music and everything. I've never let it, kind of derail me from the real world. And I was always very studious. So I did my dentistry in Chennai.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was studying dental, that's when the music journey kind of started with Rahman sir and singing in South films. So I was still in college then, and so it kind of I don't think I decided to do music. It decided to just become my my
yeah,
profession.
But that's what I'm saying. How incredible! Because when I was looking you up, I saw that you went to school for dentistry because your parents are dentists, right?
Yeah. So a lot of people ask me that, like, were you forced by your parents because they're dentists and blah blah blah. That's usually the first question, to which the answer is no. I actually chose it consciously because, I mean, I mean, a little bit regrettably, because I've seen it all my life, like literally, like, but I did want to be a doctor, and my parents were like, you love doing too many things, please don't do MBBS, because you won't get time for yourself, and we know that you love having your feet in like a million boats. So I'm so glad that I listened to them. And I think the second thing people ask me a lot is, you know, so when did you drop out? Which I didn't. Like I finished dental school, and there was like a very, like, I think a good chunk of college when I was doing both. And but I still wanted to finish because,
So
why would I
could you
not?
practice? Like, could you actually, like, if I came to you and I said, I chipped my tooth, could you help me? Are
Yeah,
you trained?
I'm a licensed dentist. I mean, if me, the human being, would be like, don't come to me because I clearly don't practice dentistry. I know how to fix your teeth, but I'd rather send you to somebody who does it every day.
But in emergency,
In an emergency, yes.
I love that. But that's why when I was seeing that, I was like, that's two different things. To go to think I'm going to become a dentist to then becoming this international singer, right? Like, that's what I'm just saying. Two different worlds. So I was trying to figure out when maybe you grew up singing, but you just thought it wasn't a career. Because, so the story is you're in school. That's why I brought up the competition, because apparently that's where you started first performing, was in the competitions. Yeah. And then I was like, how, like, if AR didn't find you, I'm like, what would have happened? Do you think you would still be a singer? Maybe
Probably
not.
not. Like, very honestly, I'd be practicing. I think, but I would be very close to where you are because I've always wanted to live abroad. So,
Ooh.
I think if I wasn't doing music and if none of this ever happened, I would definitely give my like part one, part two, and like migrate to the US or to Canada. I like Canada more though. Just saying, just putting it out there. No,
We are pretty
but legit,
awesome.
you guys are way nicer. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, that's what I hear too. I also feel like our country's a little bit more nature filled. Like, we have less population, right? So there's more mountains and trees and lakes, right? America is more developed in terms of land.
That's so true, and I think that's something I love about Canada as well because, like I'm the kind of person who wants to see less people and more trees.
Yeah. No, I've really, because of COVID, I've really been going for walks, and I'm like, wow, it's so beautiful and peaceful here. So we're very lucky. Well, actually, let's get to you about COVID. So how has life been like? I mean, you're at home right now, right? So how's that adjustment been, having to now stay home all the time?
So initially it was a little weird because we travel so much as musicians that that's part of the thrill and part of, I think, part and parcel of the excitement of being an artist. But it was actually great. I mean, great in the sense I'm trying to look at the positivity. And being in the middle of a pandemic is definitely not great, but I think it was a great opportunity for me to focus on creating as opposed to like just performing, because performing you're a little bit on autopilot because you have your set list and you just like replicating it over and over again, and of course it's thrilling and enjoying and everything, but it does take a toll on your health as well because you have no control over your lifestyle, over your sleeping hours, and sometimes it's crazy, like you have to travel. You have like a show which probably ends at like 2 in the morning, and then you have a flight at 6 in the morning, and so sometimes it's really hectic. So I think it really gave all musicians, I'm sure I'm speaking for a lot of people, that a time to kind of rejuvenate. And I think I've never in my life before have I voluntarily woken up at 6 in the morning to go for a run. So I think that's definitely like a good change. And I also released a lot of independent music, got time to finish all of that, which never happened before. But right now I'm actually not at home. So the first few months, 4-5 months of COVID, we were in Bombay and I was stuck there. I didn't go back to my hometown, which is Calcutta. But then we got really frustrated because the cases were also increasing in Bombay and we were like tired of being cooped up in the house. So me and my boyfriend, we took our dog in the backseat and we drove to Goa.
Oh, you did? Oh, nice. That's
So
actually a really great thing.
yeah, so it's great because, like, I mean, it's not like we were being irresponsible. Like we drove because we did not want to, go by a flight and be in contact with other human beings. So we just, got into our own car, drove here, and
here.
we're staying here far away from people. Like there's so much space.
That's good.
And it's green and it's awesome. Like I told you, like I love being in the greenery, so it's amazing.
Yeah, and that's why it's nice that you could be kind of hiding, but then you still have that contact through these like Zoom calls, right? You know what? Another thing I've noticed though, because of the whole lockdown, you were just mentioning before, you never thought you would be a Bollywood singer, right? And when I was taking a look at your music and just even talking to you now, I really feel like you're more non-Bollywood. Like I could see you being like,
I'm a bit of a paradox.
yeah, and so that's maybe the beautiful thing. Oh, hi. Aw,
No,
little puppy.
he's like teething right now, so he was like kind of nibbling on my feet. So I thought instead of me doing that in the interview.
Yeah. Hi. That's so cute. So it's like great chance for you to also work on your own music. You don't have to be attached to a film or anything like that. So that's a blessing.
Although like, so we came here to Goa as well with all our equipment and our mic and everything. Like, so the funny thing is we have been doing a lot of film work even during the lockdown. Like, yeah, so film as in like Bollywood and Bollywood related. Oh my God. Stop it.
What is he? He wants to say something.
Yeah, he wants to climb on me or bite me or something. I don't know. He's teething, so.
That's fine.
As long as you don't pee, it's fine.
Okay, so you're working on independent music. I want to ask you, you've released a bunch of songs. I want your opinion. What is the song that you think made your career?
I think definitely RAABTA.
Okay, so that is hands down. You're like, I'm so grateful that song came into my life because it really opened doors for me. Had it not happened, maybe not.
Yeah, because that was my first Bollywood song, and I think it was an incredibly large, big, super number to get as your first song. So definitely, it took me to a different trajectory altogether, and it's still one of my biggest songs. So I think I'm super grateful for that song being, coming into my life, because it definitely, otherwise before that I had just sung in regional, projects and films. So this was my first Hindi number, definitely expanded my audience,
and it's a beautiful song. It's for sure.
It is.
With that song though, how did you actually get it? Because when I was reading up, Sonu Nigam has been talking about the industry. A lot of other people have been talking about how hard it is. Like we talk about movies, we talk about nepotism, we talk about how difficult, like that's really kind of come to the front. People are kind of starting to talk about the music angle too, right? And so I was reading that there's a lot of politics in music too, that, it's all about kind of having the right connection, or sometimes they're like, who has the bigger name, whatnot. And so for you to get that as your first Bollywood song, I was like, what's the real story behind that? Like, was that actually just offered to you, or did you have to pull a lot of strings to kind of get that privilege?
So actually, I have no industry connections. Like whatever I've done in music has completely been on my own, without anybody nudging anybody or saying that, hey, my niece or somebody sings or whatever. So I think that's something that also makes me really happy, that all of this that's happened has been very organic. That's the funny thing about RAABTA, because even when I sang the audition and the scratch of it, I never went into the booth with any kind of expectation, because I had the same thought in my mind that, for sure a song of this magnitude, which is already so famous. Okay, he's biting my feet.
Bring him up.
Which is already so famous, for sure, won't be given to somebody who is completely new and, has no credibility, so to speak, in the industry. So it was a big surprise for me. I think till the song actually came out, it did not sink in at all for me. I think even after it came out, it took me a while to be like, oh, okay, I sang like a really big song, and so I think great things like this do happen to people who don't need to be associated, priorly to the industry, as you said, with the whole nepotism thing. Which is why, like, when a lot of people interviewed me, when my singles released, they all brought up this topic, which Sonu Nigam's kind of opened like a whole can of worms. And I honestly had this feedback to give them, that maybe I'm an exception to the rule. Maybe that is, I'm sure, in a lot of ways an issue. And I think more than issue, it's the business, right? Because anybody would want people who have numbers, who have a big following already, to kind of, it just helps them. It's just good business, I guess, for anybody who's producing a film or putting money into these kind of projects. So I feel like it's understandable to make such decisions, but at the same time, I think the problem in the industry is that people don't communicate clearly. Like, I think that's the problem. Like, if you do a recording and then it doesn't work out, I think the decent thing to do is to let the person know, instead of just kind of being like, if you message people and they don't reply, or a lot of that happens. And I think that's the problem, more than the nepotism and weightage and all of that, because I think that's something that's there everywhere, who has like more audience pull. And I think that's TRPs is like the same formula for TV as well. So I think the problem is the communication. Like, people are just not like, just tell someone like it didn't work out, or it did work out, or the song didn't go through, or whatever. I think that's the issue, which is something that I faced as well. And I think but at the same time, people also need to understand that this is, it's a job. So a lot of people get sentimental when it works the other way as well. Like, suppose a big artist, they go and sing a song and it doesn't work out with them. Then they get really annoyed with the composer, and they'll be like, hey, why didn't you keep me in the song? Like, that's like the flip side of things. So I think it's important to understand that at the end of the day, it's a song, it's a craft, and like the music comes before all of this. And I really hope that just people make decisions based on that and not anything else.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you think you're now at a point where you can make the music that you want to make, or do you feel like you still have to, they'll say like, oh, this is a big film, you have to do it, and even if the song's like whatever, or they'll like, this is a dance song, and you're like, no, I want to do more like, slow songs or something with better lyrics. Like, do you feel like you now have the power?
No, not at all. Not at all. And I think that's also my personality. Like, I'm not the kind of person to really like command or demand the situation. Like, there have been moments where I've said no to like songs. So it's not like I've just said yes to everything. The good thing though is that so far, 90% of the work that's come my way, I think has come with that sort of predisposition from the composer, that I think this song is going to suit you because you have a sultry voice. So you have I think people recognize that I have a certain texture and they call me for songs accordingly. So that way, I think it makes it easier for me, because then I would say yes, because I know that they're calling me, because they want that style. So I think that's a great thing. So it makes it so much easier for me to not have to say no. And I'm not the kind of person to do that.
Do you ever hear a song and you're like, oh, I wish they had called me for that song? Has that ever happened to you?
I'm sure it has. Like, I'm pretty sure. Nothing really.
Like, name a song that you love and you're like, oh, I wish I could have sang that song.
Oh, let me think. I wish I'd sung this song, that.
Oh, yeah. Who sings that?
Well, it was Arijit. I think there's a small part. The female section is really small, but like, I don't really care about the gender.
Yeah.
Like, there's another song that I absolutely love. Now I think you've triggered that in my head.
You're like, this song and this song and this song.
Yeah, this song and then that song. Now that I think of it, even that song.
Yeah.
There's a song called Dariya. Have you heard that?
I think so.
it's a beautiful number.
So talk to me about what you're working on. So you said you've been releasing a lot of songs, and now I was like, this is like the perfect time for you to just think, okay, in 1 year, what I want to do, right? In 5 years, what I want to do. Because I mean, obviously, you still have so many years ahead of you. So give me an idea. Like, what are your big goals? What do you want to achieve?
So I am like, I think the thing with playback is that stuff is not in your control. Like a song releases, when a song releases, then if it releases in your voice, you know, so it's like you can't really plan your life like that. And I'm the kind of person who loves to plan plan things and, you know, have to be in control of the situation. So I really want to focus more on singles. And just like very recently, I released a song called Jhalle, Kalle, which I co-wrote with a friend of mine. And I see myself doing more singles like that on a, like, you know, like a bigger scale than just independently and, you know, like just meekly. Like I want to make big independent songs. I've also been so since I composed that single, so composing, like singer songwriting and composing in general, has been like a really fun experience for me. I also composed a song and a bit of the score of an upcoming web series. So there's a lot of that happening as well, and I think that's really fun because like people, you know me as a playback singer, and these are all other aspects of me that have always been there. So I'm really excited to showcase and sort of expose those sides of me as well, and hopefully people like what I make for them.
Yeah. Okay, so you're composing, you're writing. That's a lot. That's harder, I think, than singing, right? Because singing, you could be born with the talent, and you can take a song and like easily pick it up, right? To compose, to write, that's like you really gotta get into the song and really envision it. So because your background is more technical dentistry, how are you learning? Is there somebody like a mentor, or are you learning just like on the job? Like how are you figuring out, okay, how do I do this?
So when it comes to music per se, like I've had a Hindustani background, like I've learned Hindustani classical throughout my childhood, but I think everything else after that has been more or less self-taught, like in terms of learning how to program, learning how to record yourself, how to produce music. So I think most of it has been maybe like a little bit like I think I did a few guitar classes for like a month in class 10, but I think mostly it's been like just kind of stuff that like I even enjoy. So it's not just music, I even enjoy editing videos and, you know, stuff like that. So so it's not always just being, you know, the face of the product, and that's fun for me because I get to be the nerd me as well. I think that's that's an exciting aspect for me.
So you're definitely creative. So it's a good thing that AR discovered you, because I don't think he would have been happy just being a dentist. I don't think he would have got that creative side to you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, also because I'm really glad that he did nudge me in that direction for sure, because I'm also like one of those people who don't kind of blow their own trumpet, you know. So if I was doing dentistry, I would probably like secretly still compose songs for myself, but never put them out. I've never been the kind of person to like, you know, make YouTube videos of all the cool stuff that I'm making or doing. And all of that I've learned on the way, that it's important for you to show what you can do and not just keep it to yourself. I think that's just a personality trait. So I'm really grateful for not just Rahman sir, but all the people who directly or indirectly kind of nudged me in this direction, because I think that nudge was needed, because otherwise I wouldn't have done it on my own for sure.
Okay, so I really want to find the story, because I've interviewed a lot of singers who AR has like made their career, and I just love your story because I'm like, my God, you were just like a regular girl, not even in Mumbai, right? It'd be different if you were in the city where there's all these opportunities, if you did like a reality show, nothing.
Yeah.
You just happened to discover you could sing, and then got the opportunity to go to AR Rahman's school, and then he basically said, hey, I see something in you. So tell me the real story. Like, how did he really notice you? Because he's a busy man, right?
Yeah, so so I was in like I said, I was in Chennai doing dentistry, and so like I don't like doing one thing only, and my college was like really boring. so and I was always in, in school I used to do dance and music, and I used to play basketball, and like I was an athlete, so it was really weird for me to not do any of that stuff. So I think a few months into college, once I kind of settled in, I joined Rahman's school, like a part-time course. It was just a kind of an excuse for me to just do some kind of extracurricular activity. So I joined this like Western classical course, and I remember at that point the institution was still setting up. So it was like it was too basic for me actually, because it was like, I think the course was designed more for like after school kids. So I already knew enough theory by then from my guitar lessons and stuff. So for me, it was more the exposure to the institution than the actual curriculum. And then I saw that I spent more time in the music school than in after college hours than I needed to. Then I joined the choir, and then there was an audition for a certain project, which all I knew was that they wanted singers from the choir, like they were auditioning internally, and it was for some project of AR Rahman. Like that's all I knew really. And so for that audition, we had to go to the teacher who had the choir and everything. She was conducting the audition, and she was taking videos because she had to send it to somebody. That's like literally all I knew. And I remember it was like they had given us a list of Celtic songs like Scarborough Fair and like these very Western classical melodies, and those were like we had to audition with any one of those 5 songs or something. And number one, I had exams going on at that time in my dental school, so I couldn't go. So I messaged her and told her that can I just send a video because I have my unis from tomorrow. I can't come all the way because it was quite a distance from my college and my hostel. So can I just send like a video of me, singing and whatever? She's like, yeah, cool. So and then the thing is, I also have like a very like a husky voice, so any of those songs in the list didn't suit me.
Oh.
So I mean, because it was very like the kind of songs you hear in Lord of the Rings, like Enya kind of stuff. So I didn't know what to do. So I remember there was this Simon and Garfunkel version of Scarborough Fair, where it was very cool and like chill and stuff. So I just picked up the guitar and did like my own thing. Like I completely ignored the rules of the audition. And I just sang like Scarborough Fair, like, in a very low, husky voice and sent it. And apparently Rahman was the one who was scrutinizing all the auditions. So he heard me, and that's, I think at that point he like recognized my voice in particular. Before that, I obviously hadn't met him and all of that. So I think that audition was what sparked a lot of other things in my musical journey.
So you're basically saying it's okay to bend the rules a little bit to stand out.
The funny thing is, I didn't do it to stand out. I had no idea what I was doing. I just did like what came to me naturally. So, and I think that's the lesson that I took from that experience. Like when I retrospect, that just like, always do what comes to you naturally instead of what people are telling you to do. Because, even if it doesn't work out for you at that point, at least you did what you wanted to do. You didn't you didn't put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. I think that's what I learned from that.
Okay, wow. So then after that audition, then tell me about the first time you met AR sir.
So I got selected for that particular project, and he kept me for the same songs. So what he was doing was he was making Indian renditions of 3-4 Celtic numbers for some project of his, and so they kept me for Scarborough Fair, and he wanted the same vibe, like very husky and like very, like mellifluous kind of rendition. And it was in Hindi. So I remember I dubbed the song in the studio, and then I was waiting outside, and he was in the other room doing some work. And then one of the engineers called me and said that sir wants to meet you. So I was like, oh, okay. And then I went in, and it was like just 5 seconds. Like he just looked at me, he's like, oh, you're Nikhita? And I was like, yes, sir. He's like, oh, you have a nice voice. Keep it up. And then that's it.
That's it?
The conversation. Yeah. So I think the thing with Rahman sir is that because he's so, he's all about talking shop and just getting the music done, that you don't really get the chance to freak out that you met him. Like, I think that's great. Like, because he doesn't have that aura that, oh, welcome to my studio. None of that. Like, he has no larger than life kind of nonchalance. He's just like doing his thing like a total badass geek,
Yeah.
And then you just like enter his world, and then he's just like, okay, you do this, okay, you do that, and I'm just like, okay, cool, and then that's about it.
Wow.
So I think it's great to work like that with somebody who makes you so comfortable instantly. Because I'm sure a lot of people freeze when they meet, somebody who's as big as AR Rahman. So.
Yeah, because I've interviewed so many people that either people say that he was a role model to them or he helped their career. And I'm like, what a guy that he just doesn't, I don't even realize how big of an impact he makes on people. So that's why I was like, so many people's careers, they were nobodies, they had no connection. And because AR Sir either helped them or gave them an opportunity, their whole life is changed. So that's why I really admire about him.
True.
There you go. Okay, who is somebody in the industry that you think is a mentor? Do you feel like you have a mentor or no?
I don't think I have a specific mentor or somebody like, who I visit very often for advice and all. I think that a lot of people have helped me along the way in their own way. So I can't really pinpoint. Like, I think I'm really grateful to have like really cool parents.
Mhm.
They made the transition really easy for me because I didn't have to fight them at all for doing music, and they were very understanding and they're very supportive of the whole transition. And I think that's the like I think charity begins at home. So like,
But honestly, supportive parents are very important because if
Yeah,
they didn't support
absolutely.
you, maybe you wouldn't have pursued this.
Absolutely. And I think there are different triggers for different people. I'm sure people who had to fight their family, that also inspired them in a way, that struggle. But I'm so glad that I didn't have to struggle with my parents because I love them. I wouldn't want to, like disobey them to pursue my dreams. So I think that's a big, they are really important role models for me because of how cool they are.
They seem really cool. Yeah. Do they go on tour with you or are they part of the
No,
business now?
they're both dentists, so they work a lot. They're workaholics. My dad's my dad's a big Kishore Kumar fan, so he loves music. He loves singing. He's trying to like sit on the guitar.
Aw, he's musical. He's so cute.
Let me give you a.
Hi,
Since
honey. Hi.
he's any case like hogging this entire interview and not letting us.
I think I should do that from now on all my interviews. When people come in person eventually, I think I should have puppies here and do interviews like this. Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be super distracting though.
No. And then every time you do like let's say you sing, I'll add a puppy. So it's like by the end maybe you could do like 10 puppies. Wouldn't that be fun? That's a good
We'll get
idea.
a puppy. So he's actually like, we just got him like rescued him, I guess, for like 3-4 days back. So he's very new, which is why
Aw,
like
he's so new.
if I leave him alone, like he'll start whining because obviously I'm sure he's got some kind of separation anxiety.
Yeah.
So
Poor guy. But it's so cute that you have it. Okay, so let me ask you, what do you think is the secret, like, for you to have made it? Because I'm sure you have days where you have bad days, maybe days where you're like, oh, I don't think I'm going to make it, right? So how do you, in terms of inspiration, keep yourself going?
I think humility. Like I don't know if I would have been way faster in my trajectory if I was, a little more boastful. But I love my journey and how things have unfolded. So, and a lot of that has been just being myself and, like just focusing on, like I told, like that audition with Rahman sir. Like I think a lot of times ignorance is bliss. so like I like being ignorant of the situation and just focus on, if I'm there to sing, I'm there to sing. I don't have to know, like, how you, like, obviously when you're going to record with somebody, you do your due diligence and you, like, research about them, and so that you know how to talk to that person and all of that. And I think I did very little of that. So yeah, I think just being myself and not having to focus on how to crack the industry. Ironically, that's what helped me crack the industry. So
Do you have like a crazy story for your fans? Like, I think that's always entertaining. So a story about like the craziest thing a fan's done to meet you.
So I was back in Chennai, like I had moved to Bombay and I went back to Chennai and went to this apartment where I used to stay, where another friend of mine stays now. And so I was like, because I went there for an interview, so I just went to meet them and crash with them and stuff. And then I went to a grocery store because I wanted to pick up the filter coffee from there. So I just went down, like walked down to the nearest grocery store because I wanted to pick up that filter coffee. And then this girl like came up to me and she's like, "Are you Nikhita Gandhi?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh my god, I love this song." I was like, "Oh my god, you love my songs." It was like so weird for me because it's like less likely for a singer to get recognized, especially if you're not YouTubers, because like we don't have like really a face value. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, that was like a weird place, like in the grocery store. So yeah,
that's a great feeling though, isn't it, when you get recognized for your work?
Absolutely. Like it is very overwhelming, and I don't think anything can quite describe how it feels. Like it's this weird mixture of awkward and flattered and excitement and all of that put together.
Yeah. And I hope we get lots more of it. So please do come back to Toronto. Make sure you reach out to me. I would love to do something in person with you. That'd be great. Hopefully, if we're allowed to. And then if not, I will definitely take you around.
Thank you. That's so sweet of you.
I love when people come here to Toronto because I actually don't get time to explore Toronto. So it's an excuse for me too, right? To go be like, oh, I have to take her around. I have to go do all this tourism stuff.
Yeah, I also one tends not to explore stuff that's just around. Like I'm from Calcutta. I've never been inside Victoria Memorial, which is like the most touristy, like sort of whatever, like site to see. And like if anyone goes to Calcutta, you show them the bridge, like the old bridge, and you show them Victoria Memorial where the Britishers used to rule, and that's that's
oh,
pretty
that's what
much
it is.
Calcutta.
Okay.
I mean, that was the Queen's house or something. I don't even know the story properly.
You should go. This
I've
year.
never been inside. I've lived there all my life and I've never been inside. So yeah.
Get the boyfriend to take you on a nice date night. You go for a nice dinner. You go to the Victoria House, take a nice photo, and then you're like done.
I think that's one of those places where like all these couples go and like write their name and do illegal stuff like that on the monument. So yeah, it's way too cheesy for me to go there.
We gotta find you guys a romantic place to go to. Have you guys gone to Paris?
Have I been to Paris? Yeah. Of course.
But with your boyfriend, there's like that lock bridge, right?
Yeah, we've been to Paris. We went to the Louvre. We went to obviously Eiffel Tower. Also, I think because when you're dusky, I don't know if I'm dusky, but I always get confused for being Mexican.
Okay.
Like people always try to speak to me in Spanish.
I can see that. Kind of like me, because I know most people are like shocked that I'm Indian.
I'm Punjabi too, by the way.
So we should actually go get Punjabi food then when you're here.
We should get Punjabi food in Canada. Did I hear that right?
Yeah? Where else are we going to get Punjabi food?
Bro, I'm from India. I'm not going to go to Canada and have Punjabi food. You gotta come to India and do that. Like you gotta come to India, I'm gonna take you to a dhaba and then we'll call it Punjabi food.
Oh, I wonder if it's different. Do you think it's different?
I mean, I guess.
What if you come here and I show you the Punjabi food and you're like, this food is even better than what you get in India?
I accept your challenge, but don't keep your hopes up. No, also, okay, like legit, I've eaten Punjabi food in Amritsar, like literally right outside the Golden Temple. I don't think it gets more legit than that. So, like, I have never had lassi and just even pili dal and kali dal, like anywhere like that. And I like love my kali dal. So, like my mouth is watering just talking about it.
Yeah, because I've been to Punjab a lot. Outside of Amritsar, I've only had the jalebis. You know how the jalebis are really famous? I've only had that. In terms of, I usually go to the dabbas, like on GT Road. And I think the food's pretty good, but they put a lot of butter in there. That's the only thing I'm not used to is like the makhan, you know? Like that's like for me, I'm like, it's delicious, but that's like, okay. So
Calories, but that's the whole point. Like, they'll be like, here's your food, and then they'll take like this ginormous piece and be like, here's your makka.
you're like, it's more than the meal. So my favorite thing there, oh, that scared me. Oh, my fire alarm's going off. Okay, I'm probably gonna have to end this interview now because they're doing fire alarm testing. So it's probably gonna go off soon. So don't be worried. There's no fire.
Okay.
They're saying that they're testing for something. So don't be like, what happened to that girl? There was a fire. It was like, you're my last ever interview ever, you know?
Oh my god.
Okay. Fantastic meeting you. You're so sweet. And I would love to meet you. So make sure to come visit us, okay?
Yes, thank you so much for having me on your show. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed my interview. For more interviews like this, please subscribe to this channel.